Hey guys, what's going on? Final Saga here, and today we're going to be looking at our Joey Wheeler Battle City anime deck. Let's pop this open and see what we got. When you pop it open, you'll see that the deck also comes with this custom deck box of Joey Wheeler with this inlay of him in the front. This looks really sick. It's nice green. It's made with our PU leather. And like our other deck boxes, when you open it up, it has a custom artwork of Joey on the inside with his Guilford the Lightning. This looks awesome. And as far as what's in the actual deck box, let's go over that right now. Every one of our anime decks comes with a little divider. This is customized to Joey. It has the Time Wizard right here and the Final Saga logo. And it's also made out of the PU leather. Feels really, really nice. Each deck also comes with a set of our anime style card sleeves. These are the Saga edition matte finish. I do have a couple here to show you. Each of our anime decks does in fact come with one of these. It's going to be a 60 count, so it does fit the actual anime deck, but if you do want to use these for real cards as well, you can. Same size. They have a rough texture, if you can see that, make that out right here. So they're perfect for shuffling and actual use, not just for display, which a lot of the higher gloss ones end up being used for. But yeah, so you can get a package of these as well. But now let's check out what we're actually here for, and that of course is the anime deck itself. Let's pop this open, let's see what this deck comes with. And like any standard deck that you would pick up, this deck comes with a couple different rarities: Common, Secret, and Ultra. And the cover card, here we go. Guilford the Lightning in its gorgeous anime OCG exclusive artwork. Man, I wish we had this in the TCG. This looks insane. Let's get a little close up on that. And this looks gorgeous. And again, the whole point of these cards is to reincorporate the westernized version of the Yugioh show. Yes, in the original version of it in Japan, the cards looked like standard Yu-Gi-Oh cards with their titles and their effects. However, due to product placement laws, it was kind of shuffled around and they made them look different in our version of the show. These cards are made to make it look as authentic as the original westernized version of the TV show could. I think the thing about it that makes it the most interesting is just solely the fact that the effects are unknown. Like in the real world card game, Yu-Gi-Oh is all about keeping track of what your opponent's doing, reading card effects, keeping track of things like that. While in the show, it's more about knowledge and the lack thereof, the unknown about what this card effect does if your opponent doesn't know, or what the card is called, and kind of solely basing it off of what your opponent is doing when they play it. You know, we used to play with old fake Japanese cards on the playground. We didn't know what the cards did. We were kind of making them up as we go. And in a lot of ways, the anime versions of the cards are pretty similar. Anyway, in terms of Battle City, Guilford the Lightning is a perfect cover card for Joey. Let's see what other secret rares we get. We get a few. We have Jinzo here as a secret rare. This looks beautiful. His effect in the anime is actually pretty spot on with what we got. You have a Panther Warrior. That looks insane. This was one of the first Battle City cards that Joey played in his duel against the Exodia Rare Hunter. And last but not least, our first real deviation in the anime, we have the secret rare Flame Swordsman as a vanilla, not as a fusion. So in the anime, primarily in the first season, Flame Swordsman was just a standard vanilla that Joey used and summoned. By the time Battle City came and they implemented the tribute summoning aspect to the show, they started to phase Flame Swordsman out, number one, because he's a 5-star 1800, he's not super viable, but also he is technically a fusion. They never really acknowledge that directly in the show, but they imply it just by quietly getting rid of him in a lot of normal summon situations. So these are the 4 secrets that you get in the deck. Some of his most classic guys, honestly, and really well designed too. When we go through this deck, you'll see Joey just has so many iconic, really well designed monsters, arguably better designed than some of Kaiba and Yugi's. That being said, there's a bunch of ultra rares to go through, so we're gonna look at that right now. The first ultra being the classic Red Eyes Black Dragon. Joey doesn't use him very often in Battle City. I believe he only uses him in his first duel against the Exodia Rare Hunter. But it's his ace. You can never take that away from him. It looks really good in Ultra too. That looks awesome. And we also do throw in the Black Skull Dragon. If you do want to do some shenanigans with some cards in this deck to get Summon Skull and do the fusion, then you're more than welcome, depending on if you're dueling Yugi or not. You can copycat that Summon Skull. But Black Skull Dragon's another real classic card. I wish it made more appearances in the anime. I believe it only makes an appearance, I believe only 3 times. And of course, the Time Wizard, the classic, ultra rare, looks beautiful. It's funny too with Time Wizard, if you look at how many times Joey uses the effect of Time Wizard in the show, which does phase out over the course of the 5 seasons, Ironically, Joey only gets a win con from Time Wizard, I believe only with Bones and with Mai. Every other time he uses Time Wizard, something happens and it backfires and he ends up losing the duel. With Yugi he loses, with Kaiba in Battle City, with Esperoba, Jinzo doesn't get destroyed. Bandit Keith ends up beating him anyway. So it's funny, as great as Time Wizard is, Joey has way more losses with him. And then in terms of more classic Battle City stuff, we do have Legendary Fisherman, the Mako Tsunami card that he wins. Deerfree, the Iron Knight, arguably one of his most famous Battle City monsters. Scapegoats, this looks gorgeous in Ultra Rare. Such an amazing card. And one of my personal favorites, Alligator Sword Dragon. I love that we have this in Ultra. I love that they gave Baby Dragon an additional fusion. It was cool to kind of give him like a new alternative to Thousand Dragon. Albeit this only makes one appearance in the manga and in the anime, but it's still really cool. And last but not least, really cool reference here, we have Ultra Rare Regeki. And if you're wondering when Joey plays Regeki, it's when Merrick mind controls him. Merrick puts a lot of banned spell and trap cards in his deck when he duels against Yugi. It's funny to think about banned cards in the anime, but that does exist. If you think about the fact that the life points are 4,000, certain cards like destroying all monsters, burn damage cards, all of these are considered banned, at least in the anime and manga. Hinatama, I believe Hinatama is another one that was banned. Like really basic cards that you wouldn't think are a big deal. Obviously, Regeki is way more broken, but it's cool that they added that in the show and in his deck, and it's cool that we included it. Well guys, now that we went through the holos, let's look at the rest of the deck here. Starting out with Alligator Sword, one of my personal favorites. Little Wind Guard, as a vanilla, like it is in the anime. In the real game, it does have a minor effect, but we try to keep these as lore accurate as possible, depending on how they're played and how Joey uses them. Swordsman of Landstar. Rocket Warrior, all of the classic Battle City cards. Hayabusa Warrior, or Hayabusa Knight, pretty underrated. He does use it against Odeon though. And of course, Insect Queen, the card he won from Weevil. Joey really does add a lot of really awesome cards to his deck in this time. I know everybody gets a little bit of an update, but I feel like Joey really had the biggest glow up going from barely knowing how to duel at the beginning of Duelist Kingdom to just being like a pro duelist. But of course, despite all the Battle City glow ups, we still include a lot of the Duelist Kingdom favorites, such as Thousand Dragon and Baby Dragon. They do make some appearances in Battle City and beyond, but they're mostly known for Duelist Kingdom. Of course, Garuzzi's, probably my favorite Joey monster. Sort of replaced by Alligator Sword, I guess, in Battle City, if you want to be technical. But this guy's fantastic. I really wish he was a 4-star, not a 5. He would have made way more appearances. Copycat, a brilliant card with a crazy effect in the anime versus the real game, but we're going to get into that a little later. Battle Warrior, the MVP against Bones with his higher defense. Axe Raider, a great card. Love this guy. And Masaki, the Legendary Samurai, a card that we only see one time, really early on in his duel against Mai in Duelist Kingdom. Technically, this is actually a fusion component for Flame Swordsman, even though, again, Joey doesn't fuse in the anime to make Flame Swordsman. Joey really does have a huge variety of weak monsters at the beginning of Duelist Kingdom that you see for one-off moments. It's really cool that we included this just to kind of pay reference and homage to that. And, of course, how can you forget Yugioh the D-Knight, or the Dark Knight. Of course, a vanilla in the anime, not a fusion monster. And there's actually something to be said about this guy. He does make a Battle City appearance in Joey's duel with Esperoba. Joey tries to play him without tributing, not really 100% being accustomed to the Battle City rules yet. Esperoba makes fun of him for it because this is a 5-star, 1850. And again, it's unfortunate. This is one of my favorite cards. This guy looks amazing. It's funny how cards like this, who really only made like 1 or 2 appearances in the anime, ever became such classics. A lot of people I know love this guy. He just looks so sick. And speaking of Yugioh the D-Knight, despite all of the classic stuff that we've went through, we really don't shy away from some more obscure hits here. such as his fusion, which only makes an appearance in the Yu-Gi-Oh! R manga. That's a deep cut for you. So this is Guilty Gearfree, the Magical Steel Knight. This has been printed in the real game now, but back in the day in the Yu-Gi-Oh! R manga, it was a fusion of these two guys, Guilty of the D-Knight and Gearfree the Iron Knight. Obviously we have a lot of the classics in here, but this is just a really cool combination of two of his most classic cards. I've always really loved the fact that they gave Guilty of the D-Knight some more relevance just by updating him. It's a strong card too. And on the subject of deeper cuts, we do include some cards that aren't necessarily as well known or associated with Joey in here. Albeit he may have used them a couple of times, but they're not necessarily what people think of when they think of Joey. Sword Hunter is a fantastic card. He used this once in the duel with Duke Devlin when he opened up a bunch of packs. I guess it's never really officially declared if he got to keep all those cards or not, but assuming he did, this is a fantastic card. I wish he used it more. Parasite, he uses it a couple of times, ironically gifted to him from Weevil, right? Relevant in his first duel with Weevil, and then I believe in his duel with Mako, he forgot to take it out of the deck. I believe. Murata Captain, really cool. Makes some appearances in Joey decks in the real game pretty often. And then of course, Fortress Whale, which he technically did win from Mako in his duel. I believe technically Fortress Whale's Oath is what he does receive, so it's never really implied if he can summon it. Back in the day, ritual monster mechanics were a little bit looser in terms of how you summoned cards. If the cards kind of appeared from nowhere, or if you had to have them in your deck. Here at Final Saga, we've decided to just give you a vanilla variant of Fortress Whale, so you can use it, because theoretically, based off of Joey winning 2 cards from Mako, he would be able to summon this guy. And it's easier if you just can summon him as opposed to doing the whole ritual thing. Joey's deck isn't necessarily set up for that. He looks great as a vanilla though. We also include a handful of Waking the Dragons cards, such as Blue Flame Swordsman, Fiber Jar, which he uses against Mai in his first duel in Season 4, and then the Fiend Mega Cyber, which was an Esperoba card initially, but then Joey ends up picking it up himself and uses it again in that duel against Mai. Joey really does update his deck pretty often throughout the show, as I said. The Waking the Dragons arc, he's probably at his most powerful, just always throwing down some crazy cool cards. And then rounding out the monster lineup, we have Divine Knight Ishtar. And if you've never seen this card, yet again, it's another manga exclusive. Like I said, we at Final Saga try to give as many deep cuts and references and homogenize one pure, true Joey deck as we possibly can. It's a really awesome card, very underrated, and I think a lot of people forget that this did initially appear as a Joey card, much like Gore's in Yu-Gi-Oh! R was a Yugi card, and we've kind of forgotten that in the modern day. But yeah, this is a vanilla that Joey uses in Yu-Gi-Oh! R. And moving on from the monsters, let's look at some of the spell cards that we give you in this deck. A lot of classics in here. Question. Salamandra, a really cool card that wish we saw more of past the first season. Foolish Burial, notably a different effect in the anime versus the real card game, but again, we'll get into that later. Monster Reborn, the classic. Polymerization. I remember back in Duelist Kingdom, Joey didn't have polymerization, so he had to go through a lot of leaps and bounds to get that when he wanted to use it. In his duel against Yugi, the anime exclusive duel, he had to grave rob polymerization just to make that happen. Pot of Greed, everyone's favorite card. I don't remember what it does though. Giant Trunade, really sick card. Roulette Spider, a card that I really wish he used more. That's one of my favorite parts of the Esperoba duel. Really iconic. Shield and Sword, with its OCG artwork. Another really cool Duelist Kingdom card that I wish had some more appearances later. Energy Drain, with its anime artwork. Lightning Blade, a little bit more of a deep cut, but it is used. And on the subject, a legendary sword as well. Like I said, Joey just has probably one of the more fun decks, I think, overall, with just like the random cards that he did use every once in a while. Graceful Dice and Skull Dice, being a quick play spell card, much like his brother. This is because here at Final Saga, we try to incorporate cards as they are used. in the show, in their proper formatting. In the show, at least in the beginning of Battle City, Joey does use skull dice in a much more spell style mechanic way. So in order to kind of keep that sincerity to the original source material, we try to incorporate that as well. Much like we do with Fairy Box, which is also a spell card, even though it is a trap in the real game. Like I said, we try to look at the duels and recognize how things operate in the context of the show, and we try to bring that into the real, into our real card game. And then last but not least, an anime exclusive, Attrition. This is a deeper cut. Like to throw in some fun stuff when we can. Really love the artwork here. And to round out the deck, let's go over the traps really quick. We have Grave Robber, Kunai with Chain, personal favorite. Love how it had 2 effects. Pretty obscure and interesting for the time if you look at the way the Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics were designed. The fact that a trap card could have 2 effects that could do either or was definitely interesting. Here we have Gamble, not used very often, but used. Magical Arm Shield, another classic from Battle City. Nutrient Z, I still remember the first time he used this. I believe it was against Kaiba after they both lost. So it was the Battle of the Bronze, I believe was the episode. Joey was about to lose and it boosted his life points by 4,000. Really crazy card. Remember seeing that back in the day and just thinking it was the most broken thing ever. Chasm of Spikes, one of my favorite one-off trap cards in Duelist Kingdom. Really happy we ended up getting this a couple years ago. Really cool card. Probably my favorite trap hole. And then Silver Dollar, an anime exclusive that honestly I've been waiting to get for a long time. It's not the most broken card in the world, but it is really fun. I like the concept of it. I remember, I forget what duel it's in, but I remember in the show when it does get used, it like blocks a sword tip just by like the coin. So like it attacks and the coin blocks it. It's pretty cool. Guys, just like that, that is the entirety of the Joey Wheeler Battle City anime deck that we at Final Saga print. Again, we try to do a wide range, including different rarities, as well as just looking at all the different eras of his deck, whether it's early seasons, later, and just other materials, whether it's the manga or the anime itself. And if you pick this up and you want to duel with your friends with it, you can feel like you're the authentic show version of Joey Wheeler. But that being said, if you're wondering how you're supposed to remember all the names and what all these cards do, we do got you covered. So our decks do come with a little pamphlet. This is the Battle City Effect Catalog and Rulings book. Each of our decks come with something similar. But if you pop this open, it goes over basic rules of how we would recommend you play. Everything from starting with 4,000 life points to monsters can be summoned in face-up defense position if you choose so. Real anime style vibes. But it also goes over all the names and effects, including some of the vanilla flavor text if you want to see some of that. And then going over all the effects as they are in the manga and or anime. Some notable things here are things like Copycat, who has a very different effect in the show versus real life. You can activate this card as a spell to call a spell or trap in your opponent's graveyard and copy its effect. If you summon this card as a monster, you can target an enemy and copy its attack points. We have the anime exclusive Attrition and Energy Drain. So again, we have the effects laid out here. It's simplified. So if you are playing with this deck and your opponent or you just don't remember that card from the show, we got you covered. And as I mentioned earlier, we have Fairy Box, which is a continuous spell as opposed to a trap in our version. Or there might just be little subtle differences too, so it's always good to pop open the rulebook and confirm. Foolish Burial in the anime allows you to do a little bit more. You can take a card out of your deck and you can either put it in your graveyard or your opponent's, which is pretty critical in the Joey versus Merrick duel and how Joey ends up getting around the situation he was in. I think some of my personal favorites are Skull and Graceful dice, comparing their anime variations versus their real life counterparts. You roll the 6-sided dice to divide the attack of that monster by the results until the end of the turn. As opposed to the real game where it's only denominations of 100. So I think the lowest you can do is lower somebody by 600. Here you're dividing. So if you roll a 6, you're dividing that attack by 6. A Blue Eyes goes from 3,000 to 500 real fast. Pretty crazy, honestly. Anyway, guys, this is our Joey Wheeler Battle City anime deck. If you like what you see here, you can visit our website at www.finalsaga.de, and you can use our promo code 5, that's FIVE, for 5% off. And also keep in mind, for your next purchase, we do carry other ones. We have Yugioh, Joey, Kaiba, as well as the villains, Merrick and Bakor. We're going to be adding more soon, as well as our booster box. We do have a Battle City booster box of all of the other cards that did make an appearance, whether minor or more major, in Battle City, as well as a Duelist Kingdom one that we're currently working on. Again, you can visit our website and also check out our TikTok and our Instagram. We're posted on that every week as well. If you guys enjoy this, I recommend it highly. It's one of my favorites that we've printed, just because it really does a great job of showcasing all the different eras of Joey's deck, because he does, again, have the biggest growth from the beginning of the show to the end, including a lot of different manga appearances too. Thanks for watching, guys.